That has to change, and this idea of growth and gain has to be a shared responsibility. All of us have to be working together to get there. And the emphasis on student growth will ensure that schools have an incentive to improve the academic performance of our highest achieving students as well. Too often, gifted children aren't challenged with the opportunities they need to succeed either. While we will reward and recognize, and most importantly, seek to learn from the best schools, the vast majority of schools will have more flexibility to implement locally designed plans to reach the benchmarks they set for themselves. I always say the best ideas in education are never going to come from me or from Washington. They will always come from great teachers, great principals, great superintendents at the local level who are making a difference in the lives of students every single day. We want to reward excellence and empower local educators to continually improve their schools. But schools with chronically low performance and persistent large achievement gaps will be required to take far-reaching steps to help students. We'll maintain that focus on achievement gaps from NCLB. Our proposal will continue to hold schools accountable for teaching students with disabilities, but we will also reward them for increasing student learning. Our proposal will also include meaningful district accountability. That means even where achievement gaps aren't apparent in schools with small numbers of students with disabilities, we'll see these gaps at the district level and ask districts to focus on closing those gaps. While we're confident that our accountability system will be fair and flexible and focused, we absolutely recognize that it won't be flawless. To build a first-rate accountability system, states have to significantly improve existing assessments used to measure our students' growth, and we must move beyond filling those bubble tests. Our ESEA blueprint and Race to the Top assessment competition will invest in the next generation of tests to measure student growth and achievement. And it will enhance states' use of technology and advances in the field of testing to evaluate a range of skills, including those that have traditionally been difficult to measure. The department plans to support groups of states who will design better assessments for the purposes of measuring student growth and providing real-time feedback to inform teaching and learning in the classroom. All students will benefit from these tests, but the tests are especially important for students with disabilities. Today, as all of you know, we have a complicated set of rules around assessing students with disabilities. The majority of students with disabilities take the regular state tests based on the state standards for all students with appropriate accommodations to ensure that the results are valid. Students with the most significant cognitive disabilities can take alternate tests based on alternate standards, and other students with disabilities may take an alternate test based on modified standards. Developing these alternate assessments requires specialized expertise. The department intends to run an alternate assessments competition that will be managed by the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, with a notice inviting applicants later this year. We need to move towards assessments that allow practically all students to take tests that report results tracking their progress towards college and career readiness. Our blueprint also recognizes the uniquely transformative power of teachers on students. Nothing is more important than getting a great teacher into every classroom and supporting those great teachers in the hard work they do every single day, often in very, very challenging circumstances. We will invest almost $4 billion in programs that recruit, prepare, develop, retain, and reward those great teachers. That's an unprecedented investment. Our proposal goes further by bolstering both traditional and alternative pathways to teaching, especially for those teaching in high-need areas, such as special education, and those teaching in high-need schools and in high-need communities. This reauthorized ESEA will provide the building block for reauthorization of IDEA that will follow. Alexa Posny, who's here, will be leading our work in IDEA reauthorization, and she'll be a strong advocate for students with disabilities in ESEA reauthorization as well. She, I think, is doing just an absolutely extraordinary job, and I feel so lucky to have her leading our team. You'll be hearing more from Alexa tomorrow morning, and she and I look forward to hearing your voices and working with you as Congress shapes this critically important law. Before I close, I want to issue a challenge to each of you individually and to the whole field of special education. Everything we do at our U.S. Department of Education is aimed towards meeting the President's goal that by 2020, America will once again lead the world in college completion rates. We simply cannot get there unless students are earning post-secondary degrees at record levels. I know we've made tremendous progress over the decades, but we all know how much work is still before us. And I want to challenge each of you to be personally responsible for the success of your students once they graduate. This will mean helping students not just in school, but assisting them as they plan for their transition from high school into college or into careers. And I know all of you work so hard on this already, but I'm asking all of us to redouble our efforts and redouble our support. The success of your students and the well-being of our communities and our nation's economic prosperity depends on creating a cradle-to-career educational pipeline, not an educational system that continues to function in separate silos. Working together and with your extraordinary courage and commitment to challenging the status quo, we can create an education system that delivers a world-class education to every single learner. This is a promise we must keep to our nation's students with disabilities and to all American children. I thank you so much for what you do every single day, and I thank you for what we're going to accomplish together. Thanks for having me this evening. Take care.